Hey kids, Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. It's February, live stream time already, the year is rocketing by. What is going on? Anyway, welcome along, thank you for joining, particularly if you can see this live. It's always that much better when you see these things live, I think, because a bit of interaction is always good. Now, before we get on with the usual business, a few things I want to say. First off, I must just say, last time on the last live stream in January, somebody asked, and I apologize, I can't remember who it was who asked, but somebody said that they had a fancy new end can on their bike and they wanted to leave the bike, I think it was in London or somewhere, but didn't know how they could secure the motorcycle, or rather secure the end can so it didn't get stolen. And I asked for anybody that had any ideas, and in fact loads of people said that you can get anti-tamper lock nuts for exactly that purpose. So whoever that is who asked that question, apologies I can't remember your name, but get yourself some anti-tamper lock nuts, stick them on your end can, and it should be secure when you leave the bike unattended in town. So that's one thing. Next thing, must just say big happy birthday to Mark Lloyd. Hello Mark, thanks for watching. It's your big day today, I understand, and whilst I'm on the birthday theme, shout out to Tubby Graver. It was a happy belated birthday. In fact, it was his birthday on the last live stream. He left me a little message saying give us a birthday shout out, and I failed to see it, so apologies Tubby. So happy birthday to you, and also to Mr. Super Duke. It was his birthday on the 23rd of Jan, so shout out to you as well. Alright, so that's the birthday stuff. Who would ever believe we'd get to that? Alrighty, so as ever on this live stream, hoping for loads of questions. You can ask me anything you like, no guarantees I'm going to answer them of course, but I've done all sorts of things since we last spoke. My goodness me, I've been blurting out videos at a heck of a rate. So it could be the new Royal Enfield, the 650 Interceptor that I rode recently. That's had loads of views. Any questions on that? Happy to take those. Dropped my GS the other day. You might have seen that. I was in a muddy car park messing around and with my drone and stuff. Dropped the bike. That was a bit of a pain. But anything and everything you want to talk about, I'm up for that. So that was that. Oh, as usual, I've got some questions remaining from last time. If I don't manage to read the questions as they come up on the live stream, then I will, of course, note them down. I'll watch the live stream back later on tonight and I'll note any questions, interesting ones that I missed, and make sure I pick them up next week. So don't worry if I don't pick up your live comments, although I will try my best. And I can see we've already got some stuff coming through now, which is fantastic. And of course, at the end of the period, I always give these half an hour, but we end up often doing 45 minutes an hour, depending on how it goes. There will be, of course, some parish notices all about the channel, as well as I've got some things I want to tell you generally, and also a little bit of a preview of what's coming up on the channel. So stick around and stay tuned for that. Alrighty, so to get us kicked off then, in the usual manner, I always love to find out who's watching where. So as I say, I can see we've got loads of messages coming in, but it'd be great to find out who gets the prize for the most antisocial time of day to be watching this. It's 8 PM just after here in the UK when I'm doing this live on Thursday, and I know that sometimes we get some viewers in Australia, which always blows my mind. So I think Sydney it's 7 AM there possibly, and also in the US it's earlier this morning if you're on the West Coast. So it'd be great to hear where you are, and also it just confirms that you can see and hear me okay. So let's just check that. Turn the mic on. Yes, seems to have done. Thank goodness for that. Right, let's see what we've got going on then. So, Tubby Graver's here. Excellent. Brian, hello. Morton Cock, hello to you. One of the nobodies in Denmark. Excellent. Mike, hello. Hi, Tim. Derek. Oh, lots of familiar names here. It's all rushing in now. My goodness me. Cliff, Joseph, Graham. So just Lanarkshire. So Benfleet, York. Lots in the UK, it appears. Cayman Islands. Oh, that could be... Matt might be the furthest. Can we beat the Cayman Islands? Steve's in Great Missenden, so you're not going to get the prize, mate. Who else have we got? Wexford, Glasgow, Dorset. Brilliant. Llanelli. Excuse my accent. Denver. Another great one. Colorado. Fantastic. Oh, what's this? Somebody's put something highlighted there. Can you tell us your exact height so we can gauge how the bikes you ride might suit us? Good question. I do normally say how tall I am. 5'8". I'm only a small fella. Well, I'm medium size, I guess, for a Brit. I've learnt this from the Americans. A 32-inch inseam, I believe, is what they say. I call it a 32-inch inside leg. So I don't know if that's long or short, but medium-sized fella, 5'8". That's how that works. But I normally do mention that on the bike reviews, to be fair, when I'm doing a bit about seat height. Okay, what else we got? Did I see somebody fly past from... Oh, Hobart. Brilliant. That's Tasmania, isn't it? Taz. Brilliant. So we've got people from around the globe, as usual. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. Ashby de la Zouche, I can never say that. I'm going to have to stop calling you out. Sutton Coalfield. Everybody's here. All right, and already I can see we've got people building up onto the live stream. 435 watching at the start, which is fantastic. Thank you for watching. All right, let's crack on with a few questions then, and then we'll see what questions we can pick up from the live stream. So do think of some stonkers for me, and I'll pick those up in a minute. So first off, we've already mentioned him once today, Mr. Super Duke. Happy birthday to you again for the 23rd. He said, what's the legal side of having cameras on Liz filming? Could land you in the SH #T if pulled. Good question, and it's one that comes up from time to time. I've read this in various magazines and stuff, and I've also talked to the police about this, and it turns out you're absolutely right. If you're filming stuff on your bike on a camera, dash cam, whatever we want to call them these days, GoPro, then if you have an accident and you've been recording, then that film that you've been taking is valid as evidence. The police can have a look at it, seize it, and have a look at it and see if you're being daft. Or indeed, if you have a crash, you come off, and then they can have a look at the camera as well to see if you're doing anything daft. So on the one side, it's not illegal to have a camera by any means, but you're quite right, Mr. Super Duke, in that you could get landed in some trouble if you were doing something daft at the point at which you had the off on the bike, because they're not going to check your footage unless you're doing something silly. So if you're riding like a lunatic, speeding, wheeling, all that sort of stuff, and the police stop you, pull you, then they can look at the camera, then they can use that in evidence against you, although I'm sure there's all sorts of calibration and legal loopholes that have to go through. But it is that there is a danger of that, you're quite right. Similarly, if you have an accident, they might want to look at the footage to see who was at fault. So, yeah, there is that side of it. I guess in my case, I like to think I ride sensibly, but who knows what's going to happen when you're out on the road. Obviously, touch wood, I'm hoping that I'm not going to have an accident, but maybe it works both ways though. Of course, if you had an accident, it wasn't your fault and you were filming, then you can use the film in the same way. So there we go. So on the legal side, Mr. Super Duke, there's nothing in this country to stop you riding with a camera. There's possibly an argument for safety about distraction and maybe where you have the camera mounted. I've had a few people comment on my videos this last week actually about the position of my camera at the side of my helmet. If I come off, is that going to smash up and I'm going to have bits of glass in my face? Don't know. So there's that to think about. And then, of course, it does vary by country. So, for example, I don't know what it's like in Tasmania, but in the rest of Australia, I have a feeling you're not allowed to wear cameras. In fact, if we've got any Australian viewers watching, let me know if, in fact, that is the case. I'm trying to think if I watch any Australian vloggers. Well, I used to watch, of course, who was it? Old Man Triple. He used to do it. Don't know if it was legal or if the laws changed, but it'd be interesting to know if we've got the Australian viewers, if you know on that one. Right, what do we got here then coming in? I'll come back. Let me just cross that one out from Mr. Super Duke so I don't answer the same one twice. Let's have a look on the old live stream. Bunter 1815, Germany has issues too. Yeah, Germany is quite tough, isn't it, on its motorcycle laws? I've got a vague feeling, well, not vague, I'm quite sure in Germany you're not allowed to filter either, are you? A bit like in parts of the US. I did my Norway trip last year. Was it last year or was it this year? Last year. Gosh. And that included going through Germany, of which I went along filtering away and got told in no uncertain terms that actually you can't filter in Germany, you can't do that. So you've got to be careful and ideally check out these laws before you go places. You just sort of assume as a UK biker anyone can do that, but there we go. All right, what else we got coming up? Nora in Alberta says Hudson Reich. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. I might not be reading this correctly. Really, so parts of Canada as well. Does that vary by province, I wonder? And is that no to camera or no to filtering or both? Be interesting to know because I do head out that way occasionally. Hello, Nick in Knutsford. Good to hear from you again. Lots of familiar names here. Tim's on as well. Dirt bike channel. On motocross tracks, sometimes you aren't allowed GoPros as they are classed as dangerous if they fall off, causing someone to crash. Yeah, good point. Same thing happens, of course, on normal track days. I've been to a few, well, 3 in my time, in recent times, and I'm trying to think. In fact, I think they all let you have GoPros, but they couldn't be mounted on your helmet and that had to be attached to the bike. So yeah, it does vary. Any more trips planned with teapot, chops, etc., says Diesel 0022. Nothing firm, although I probably should mention that I've just been on a, Snapchat, whatever those things are called, talking to those guys about our next get-together. It's not going to be for a while because we've got something a bit complicated planned, which we have talked about before, so you can probably guess that. But so yeah, I'm sure we'll get together again, and there's loads more videos to come on that particular get-together we had, which was great fun, as hopefully you've seen on the various videos that have been posted. Matt Thomas, anyone look to do some touring in Spain in May? Looking for riding buddies. Good idea, Matt. Good shout-out. If anyone wants to go riding with Matt in Spain, let him know. Evening, Tim F. A little late. What have I missed? Not a lot. I've only just started, actually, Gilby. Chilton Turbo. Hello, mate. Good to see you coming. Why are you late? It's 10 minutes. Outrageous. He's around the corner as well. Just watched Teapot's vlog. Good. Evening, Tim F. What have I missed? Same question, Clogsy. Hey, LB, how's it going? Oh, was LB on? I missed him. Hello, LB. Or are you going to the show at the Excel, says Tony Surridge. Funny you should mention that. I am indeed, and I'll be talking about that when I do the parish notices at the end. In fact, let's do it now. Why not? Just to so you may recall that this particular video is sponsored by Custom Fit Guards, the people that make the little earplugs, these orange earplugs that you see on my touring videos, and you can see if you look down here, you can see that we've now got the new logo that Custom Fit Guards are using. I've been after that for a while, so that's pretty good. But the reason I mentioned them is they're going to the London Excel Centre. The show, by the way, is this one. This is from this week's MCN. So as you can see, it's on February the 15th to the 17th. So it's not this weekend coming. It's the one after, starting on the Friday till the Sunday. Custom Fit Guards are going to be there. They're going to be on stand R662, and I'm going to join them on the Saturday from midday, 12 o'clock. So if you want to come and say hello, it would be fantastic to see you at the show. I've mentioned the London show before. I far prefer it over the NEC show. I just find it's about, I guess, maybe half, maybe even a third of the size of the NEC show. So I find it easier to get around, and I also find it easier to get to. Even though it's in London, if you're going on your bike, it's quite straightforward to get there, M25 and then down or up the M11, no, down the M11 technically. And then you've got secure undercover bike storage, which is fantastic. So I find it easy to get to. So anyway, as I say, I'm going there, not this Saturday coming, the one after. Come and find me on the Custom Fit Guards stand. Of course, one of the great things about going there to these shows, two places like the Custom Fit Guards place, they put the gel in your ears actually at the show. So if you want to get yourself some of these earplugs, which I use all the time, then they can take the impressions for you there and then they send them out to you in the post. They did a similar thing at the NEC show in November, and loads of people have commented to me that they got those done. And don't forget, as ever, if you mention my name when you get them done, even if you're there on a day when I'm not there, Flyer 10 will get you a 10% discount off the earplugs with Custom Fit Guards. So there we go. So that's a little shout out for them, bit of an advert, but hopefully it'd be great to meet you there. So I'm sure we might mention that again, but thank you for reminding me of that. All right, what else have we got coming in on the wires then? Graham, hello Graham. Thought One has installed a dash cam. What do you... Oh no, I've missed it. What's going on? Thought of testing out the new Fantic Motor Casa. It's very similar to your CRF. Funny enough, Graham, I was just looking at a Fantic bike before I came on. Wasn't that one though. They do look great. A lot of these little bikes now, they look amazing, don't they? There's another manufacturer I'm very interested in having a ride on. Bikes from a company called Bullet. Have you seen them? Bullittet, I think. They do a lot on social media, and their bikes just look fantastic. They're a bit like, they're in the same sort of vein as things like the Cine Scrambler I rode this time last year, and the Mutt Mongrel. Was it called the Mutt Mongrel? Those, the little scrambler bikes. But they were all 125s, which are fine in themselves. But some of these other manufacturers got slightly bigger engines, so 250s, 400s. I think it makes it a much more, not realistic because they're all realistic, but a more fun prospect. So yeah, looking forward to having a go on the Bullet if I can. I've already been in touch with those, and that might happen in a few months' time. And the Fantic, similarly, if I can manage that would be good. But you're going to get yourself one then, Graham. That would certainly be a bit different to your other beast, wouldn't it? Graham Tricker, by the way, folks, if you don't remember, and you've been watching the channel for a while, he was my first ever person on Reader's Rides. He had that incredible bike. I can't remember what it's called now. The something engineering. I'm sure Graham will remind me. Type 5, I think it was, but it was a custom bike, basically a beautiful machine. But go back and have a look at that video if you're interested. But Graham, I'm sure you can remind me exactly what it was called. The something engineering. You'll tell me, I'm sure. Clogsy, Bullet are bringing out a 250 and a 450. Yeah, that's right. And that's what I've been in touch with them about. I'd love to go on the 450. Not sure when it's going to get to these shores. I've got a feeling Bullet might be French. Not that makes any difference, but they are going to be selling them in this country, so yeah, it'd be nice to see them. That was the one, Zero Engineering Type 5.2. How could I forget that? Sorry, Graham, I've got rubbish memory, but thanks for reminding me. Okie dokie. Michael Purser just says 0. I'm not sure why we said that, but thank you. 0, of course, being the electric bike that I fell off. Zero Engineering, says Michael again. No, that was the electric bike, but not to be confused. Anyway, moving on. Thanks for the advice on Gear Assist Pro, says Six String Song. That's all right. Was that a comment on one of the videos? Could have been. Oh, was that the one about it being clunky, maybe? Anyway, we'll come back to some of those in a moment. There's loads of stuff coming in on the live chat, so I will get to those in a second. But just a couple more from the list from last week that I picked up. Oh, thank you for these top chats, by the way. There's a couple I've missed. Will, thank you, Will. Very kind of you. That'll go in the old fuel tank. You're going to go to Morocco. Have you ever been? What's the one piece of kit you wouldn't travel without? Well, my phone. Sorry about that answer, but that is true. The phone is so invaluable, isn't it, when you're on these trips for booking hotels, seeing where you are, phoning people, all that stuff. And no, I haven't been to Morocco, but it's very much on the to-do list. Funny enough, when I was on my Norway trip with the BMW Motorrad guys last year, and we were having such a great time. I don't know if you've seen that set of videos, but it was amazing out there. A lot of people, including Teapot One, have said to me Norway is a great place to ride, possibly the best in the world. I thought it was amazing, and I spoke to the tour guide on that trip and said, look, you've been all over the world riding all the best roads in the world. Where do I go after Norway? And in fact, they did say Norway probably was the best, but the next by just a whisker less was Morocco. So given it's so close to us here in the UK, it's a shortish aeroplane ride away, 2.5 hours, or get down to southern Spain, Malaga way, and then ride a bike over with my friends from Toro Adventure, for example. And you can get down to Morocco in no time at all. And amazing Atlas Mountains, incredible scenery. Definitely want to do that, and hopefully I will do it in the next hopefully the next 2 years. Certainly it's on the list for that. Excuse me. Right, sorry, back to this one I want to answer here. The Vale Rider, I think is how you're supposed to pronounce this. He or she said, what age would you consider giving up riding bikes? Well, I'll put that back as a question to you. Why would you consider riding up bikes? Why would you consider giving up riding bikes? I think the only reason I would give up is if I was medically not fit to ride one. So either I felt I was unsafe because my reactions weren't quite quick enough, or I physically had a problem, like I couldn't move my joints or something, as tends to hit old age. But I have no plans to get to a particular age and say, right, that's it, I'm done. If I can, I shall be riding until I drop, unless I get to 85 and I think that my reactions are maybe not quite as good as they should be, and maybe I might consider doing it then for other people's safety as well as my own. But I don't think age should be a factor. In fact, I saw a thing recently in a magazine somewhere, it might have been MCN this week, where a 90-year-old just took delivery of a bike. So no reason, if you feel you can, no reason why you can't go on riding, well into old age. All right, let's just check out what's happening on the live stream here. In fact, sorry, I'm going to have to put my specs on again just to read these. Definitely need to get my eyes checked. Leo, oh no, I'm picking up mid conversation. Let's have a look for another combo. Somebody said it's illegal in Oz, so I guess that's the camera thing we were talking about. Have you ever done motorcycle camping? Says Enduro 1200. No, I haven't. Mainly because I'm a hotel man, to be fair with you. I just don't get on with camping very well. I sort of get the appeal. I love the great outdoors, and I like all that. I just like having a decent night's kip at night. And the times I have been camping when I was a kid, I never slept well. I never found a good answer to a bed. Lots of people who love camping tell me you just need the right bed, you just need the right kit, and you can have a sound night's sleep. But frankly, I don't believe them. So no, I haven't tried it. It's in the back of my mind because I'm sure that's the way to get a proper adventure. And when I see these videos of people that do just stick a tent on their bike, clear off up to Scotland where you can wild camp, kip by a lock for the night, and then ride off in the morning, taking all their stuff with them, I can absolutely see the appeal of that. But generally speaking, it's not harmless, to be honest with you. I'm making it sound like I'm more keen than I am, but no, I'm not sure camping's for me. Right, back down to the list. I'll come back again to the live stream stuff in a minute, so keep them coming in. That's great. Right, Liam, he says, as a new rider, do you think the investment in a helmet like a showy RYD, £300, 5-star sharp rating, is worth it over a lower price helmet, such as a 3-star Bell at 180 quid? Oh, thank you, Rutger. Very kind of you. Straight in the old fuel tank. So good question, Liam. Basically, he's saying, do you need to spend a lot of money on a helmet with a 5-star sharp rating, or can you just get a cheap one? Well, it has to be your own personal choice, this one, I think. Personally, it comes down to how much do you value your head. And let's face it, your head's pretty important, is it, to be properly protected. That said, just because a helmet is cheap and doesn't have a high sharp rating, I don't think necessarily means it's no good. The sharp rating, that's a UK test, a government-run test, where you can look up on the Sharp website to see how safe your helmet has come out after a series of tests. They're like impact tests and abrasion tests and all that sort of thing. But the helmets that get high ratings in those, 5 stars is the highest, are just good at passing that test, not necessarily being great on the road. I don't know. Obviously, those tests are designed that they do replicate real road conditions, so they should be good, and indicative at least of how good the helmet is. So I do tend to go. I do feel a bit happier having a 5-star rated helmet, I must say. But I appreciate those tests aren't foolproof, and also some of the 5-star rated helmets don't have to be that expensive. By the way, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but this Shoei RYD actually for £300 for a 5-star helmet sounds pretty good to me. But in the main, I would say don't skimp on your helmet. If you're going to spend more money on a bit of kit than anything else, then make it your helmet. And the most important thing, regardless of test performance and stuff, I think, is it's fit. Don't be tempted just to buy one off the web, having never tried one on. Go to a dealer, get it fitted properly. It has to be really tight, hamster cheek jobs. If it's not a little bit uncomfortable to start with, then you've probably got one that's too big. Over a time, they do break in and get a bit looser, but the key is to get the fit right, and then you're going to have a safe helmet. And if that means going to a dealer, trying it on, then do buy it at the dealer and support your local dealer, as opposed to just going cheap on the web. Of course, if you bought a particular type and you're sticking with that particular helmet, it fits, then by all means, buy it cheap on the web if it's the one you want. So thank you, Liam, for that question. Okay, back to the live stream then, see what questions we've got coming in here. Matt, a dealer told me that the sharp ratings are only good for lower speed, which is why some high-end lids don't get 5-star. Oh, that's interesting. Could be right. Let's come down to the bottom because these are whipping off the top so quick I can't read them. Graham, go to a bike show and try them on as well. Yeah, good hint, Graham, actually. Yeah, back to that London bike show at the weekend. That's a good one. Oh, thank you, Alan. Very kind of you. Thanks for the great entertainment, TMF. Have a little fuel top up on me. That's very kind of you. I will do. Steve, if you were to sell your Street Triple and wanted a Sunday fun bike to enjoy, what would you choose? So I'm assuming, Steve, another Street Triple is off the equation. And I'm assuming I've still got my CRF because although it might be hard to believe, I think my Honda CRF is the most fun bike that I've got out of all my bikes, but that's another discussion. But the Street Triple, of course, is a great fun bike. What would I get instead? Well, at the moment, I've got a hankering after a Kawasaki Z900 RS. I know it's a slightly different sort of bike, it's a bit retro, but I rode one of those about 6 months ago now, and I really did love that bike. I was partly taken in by the fact that it's a four-cylinder bike, so creamy, smooth engine. So I'll be quite tempted to have another go on one of those. That was a great fun Sunday afternoon bike. If it's not a retro, what else will I go for? Maybe the Kawasaki Z900, the not the retro one. I haven't actually ridden that, but I'm just assuming it's going to feel the same. It just looks modern. What else? Things like KTM 790 Duke, nice bike, but it's I did prefer the Street Triple, I think, overall to the 790. So I'd feel a bit like I'd taken a step backwards. If I didn't have to go for one in the same category, but just a fun bike, then I've got hankering at the moment as well for a, don't hate me for this, some sort of cruiser bike. I loved the Triumph Thunderbird when I rode that a few months back, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the new Triumph Rocket 3. That looks amazing. And of course the new Triumph Scramblers are all beautiful bikes as well. So yeah, there's too many bikes to choose from. That's part of the problem, isn't it? It's a good problem to have, but yeah, one of that lot I think, or even maybe an MT10 SP. I love that bike as well. And then of course there's the Super Duke R, isn't there? So many bikes to choose from. Don't know, but luckily I'm sticking with the Street Triple for now. So no plans to get rid of. I love that bike. I think they look fantastic. It goes well. You don't need a 1000cc plus bike to have fun. That little bike I've got, it's a 2012, so it's a 675 as opposed to a 765, but it still goes like stink. It sounds amazing. I think it looks great, and I just love having a Triumph in my garage as a Brit. So there we go. So that's staying there. All right, what else we got coming up on the newswires? Lambo 8281. My mate has the Z900 naked. Very nice bike actually. I'd go for a new street trip. Yeah, but you can't have a street trip. Well, that was ruled out. That was the whole point. Mike Talbot, when are you riding a Harley? Well. Every live stream this comes up, doesn't it? As soon as I can. I've got to get myself to a Harley dealer and try one out, and I've also got this standing thing with Del Boy of Del Boy's Garage that we're going to do some sort of a Harley thing, although his is on the bench at the moment. Once he's built that bike, maybe I'll get to ride that one. Who knows if he'll let me. He's put a lot of effort in. I'd hate to bend it for him, although he can fix it again. But yeah, I 100% want to ride a Harley, especially if I'm thinking a little bit down this cruiser line. Then I owe it to myself at least to give one a try. We'll see how that goes. What else we got? Dennis, me too. Love Triumph. I'm a Trophy SE pilot. Nice one, Dennis. Well, I love Triumph too. I have to say, I'm sorry, I don't like the Trophy. Oh, that was a grim bike. Oh, I'm sorry, I've probably offended you now. Nikki Holland, any tips for my Norway trip? Take plenty of money. Dave Hammond, thank you, Dave. Hey, TMF, how are you finding the supercourses on your street? I rode 2012. Clear weather or more just a fast road tire. Love the bids. Well, to be honest with you, I don't tend to ride the Street Triple that much in the winter because it is quite a sprightly little bike, and also partly because I've got those tyres on it. Same tyres, by the way, as I've got on my Panigale. They are fantastic in the dry. They are amazingly sticky, very confidence inspiring. They handle beautifully. I love them, and I will probably get another set unless something else has come on the market that I want to try in between times. Yeah, really, really good. But you do hear stories, don't you, about their handling in the wet being somewhat off. I've never experienced any moments on mine, I have to say. And on my Street Triple, I don't have any traction control. I don't have any ABS. Never had a moment, touch wood, I think due to the tyres on the bike. So, yeah, I'm finding them really good. So, yeah, go for it. Thank you, Tim, and thank you for all your support as well. Well, what's he said here? Thank you for your work. I wouldn't have Start Motors without inspiration of your vlogs. Oh, that's very kind, Tim. I love it when people say that sort of thing. That's brilliant. Thank you, and thank you for all your support. I do notice the people that comment all the time. You're one of my regular commenters and viewers, so I do appreciate all your support. It's amazing how some of these names are familiar. In fact, they are Mike Talbot, Colin Vincent. These are all people I feel like I know, which is brilliant. Brilliant. And we've got nearly 800 people watching now as well. It's incredible. And that's it seems each month I have about 800 people watching these things live, which is absolutely brilliant. Yet when I watch the replay, I always watch the replay because I want to make sure I haven't missed any important questions or comments or discussions that were going on because I couldn't see properly. It always amazes me how I get comments on the recorded version saying, how do I comment? How do I comment? Well, if you can't see comments flicking up the side, well, actually, even on the recorded version, you can see that now, can't you? I'm not entirely sure how you know whether you're watching the live one or not. If it's not where you are, if it's not the 7th of February and 24 minutes past 8, then you're not watching it live. Oh, hello, there's an incoming message. I just looked at my phone then. And there's a message come in. But I can't read it because it's on the phone and I need to do something. But I do know it was from Lamb Chop. But there we go. Right, what else have we got coming in here on the messages? Debenham Dave, NC 500 or Wild Atlantic Way? And Debenham Dave's another regular viewer. Thanks for all your support, Dave. Never done the Wild Atlantic Way. It's on the list. I've been watching Richie's series on that, of course. But I absolutely loved the North Coast 500. Depends where you're starting from, of course. If you're in Great Britain, the island of Great Britain, then it's a little bit easier to do the NC 500 because you just ride there. You haven't got to catch a ferry. And I absolutely love the west coast of Scotland. It's amazing. So for me, with the caveat that I haven't actually ridden the Wild Atlantic Way, it would be the North Coast 500. But I am going to do the Wild Atlantic Way. I keep saying I'm going to do it. But hopefully in the next 18 months, 2 years, I'll do it. And I'll report back to you on that. I think you can't go wrong with either of them. When you're riding in this, in the British Isles, so Ireland and Great Britain, it's all down to weather, isn't it? It's all down to weather. If you get bad weather, it's going to be grim. If you get good weather, it'll probably be all right. Okay, what else we got coming in? Mr. Super Duke, come on, Chops, join in. I know he's actually on a bit of a family evening this evening, so probably can't join in. I had the message I read earlier said he couldn't join live, so I don't know whether he's changed his mind. But anyway, so let's not go there. What else we got? Are the hairpins on Balach na Bar as tight as they look? Yes, they are. But they're not, they are tight and they've got a bit of a camber on them. So ideally you do them on a smaller, less heavy bike. I did them on my GS, fairly loaded up with panniers. I'm not a very good rider, and I managed it all right without dropping it. But I couldn't even ride in a car park the other day without dropping my bike. So it is doable. But I would say if you're a newer rider, maybe give it a few years to get a bit more experience. If you're not, then try and do it on the lightest bike that you can. Although, of course, when you're doing that tour, by definition, you're probably carrying a load of stuff. So might be easier said than done. But they're not too bad. Don't let that put you off doing that trip. I mean, it's amazing. And the views up there, when you do that bit over the mountains towards Applecross, absolutely stunning. The problem with it, of course, is there's nowhere to stop on the best viewpoint. There's nowhere to stop to take pictures and stuff. If you try and put your foot down, you might come off, or you meet oncoming traffic, you're in trouble. So you have to enjoy the view very quickly up there, but definitely worth doing. Okay, let's do another question from my list here, or I won't get through these. One day I'm going to have to do a recorded video actually of all the outstanding questions. I've got about 6 pages here of questions that I haven't answered from previous live streams, and I'll just sit down and do like an hour's blat of these questions. Anyway, Matthew Dixie, he says, have you changed the settings on your EJK? I did, and so much better. Maybe you could do a vid on adjustments and differences, as there are only install vids. Thank you for the question, Matthew. If you don't know what an EJK is, that's like a power commander, an electronic jet kit it stands for. It's particular to, or my one is particular to my CRF. It lives under the seat. I plugged it between the ECU and the engine, I think, and basically you can change various settings on there, and it makes the bike perform in different ways. And it just on the CRF, it needs all the, on the 250 at least, it needs all the help it can get with power. So I put the EJK on after I'd done some mods to the exhaust and to the airbox in order to optimise the fueling. Now when you buy it, you can buy it with what's called stage 3 tuning settings already applied specifically for the CRF, and the airbox and the full system is in fact the stage 3 mod. So I just put my EJK on and left it at these stock settings and never thought about it again. And I really do need to change them, Matt. You're absolutely right. But I've kind of lost the plot a bit in that I can't really remember much about the EJK. It's ages ago when I installed it. I need to dig out the instructions again, do a bit of looking on the web about how it works. If you've got some adjustments, some settings that you think work particularly well for you, if you're in this country, so in similar weather to me, drop me a note maybe and let me know what those settings are, because I'd like to give it a go. Because I didn't, when I put the EJK on, I think they cost about 400 quid. It was quite an expensive bit of kit, and I didn't really notice any great improvement. So I could do with your help on that one. So thanks for the question, Matt. No, I haven't changed it. If you've got some brilliant settings and you've done the same mods as me, then do let me know what they are, and I'll give that a go. So thanks for that, Matt. So you might have got yourself a bit of work for that question. Right, let's get back to the live stream. Pod Show Radio. Hello from Tampa, Florida. Hello, Tampa. USA, try to never miss an episode. Looking forward to review of the Harley Road Glide. Brilliant. Well, it's great to have you along, Pod Show Radio. I haven't been to Tampa for a long time. I haven't been to Florida for a long time. In fact, I haven't been to the US for a couple of years. Videos coming soon, by the way, on the US. But I'm putting that right this year. But I'll be over in California, not Tampa. Although I do keep thinking I've got this bit of an idea of because flights to Florida aren't that expensive. If I could get the time off from Mrs. Flyer and the kids, I'm thinking maybe just get myself a cheeky flight. Maybe I could rent a bike over there and just do a little bit of a ride around Florida. I'd love to do the Keys on a bike. That would be great. And also I'd love to go back to the Space Centre, being an aviation anorak. It's just fantastic there. Whilst I'm there, I could hook up with Shade Tree Surgeon and some of the American vloggers that I follow. That would be amazing. So yeah, that would be quite good. Right, what else we got coming up then? Let's have a look down here. Chronos. Hello, the Missenden Fly. My wife's boyfriend just got me into motorcycles. What do you recommend? What? My wife's boyfriend? What do you recommend as a good first time 600? Well, when you say first time just got you into motorcycles, what do you actually mean? Is it your first big bike? Have you been riding a 125, I'm assuming, to get your CBT, and have you sort of been riding that for a year or two? Or are you just doing a crash, for want of a better word, crash course, getting your license and then getting the 600? If the latter, be careful. If the former, which I expect is probably, is probably more likely, then any 600 really that hasn't got too much power. It's the power that's the key as a new rider, I think. If you keep it, you don't really need more than about 40 horsepower on the road, to be honest, to overtake most things. But if you get a bike that's, I would say, no more than about 80 brake horsepower, a 600, you'll probably be all right. Be careful though, because even that is pretty powerful. 10 years ago that was a powerful bike, and it'll be more than enough for you to learn your craft on for a couple of years. So any of those 600s, I'm trying to think actually what the best options are there. There's the MT-07, which isn't a 600, which might be worth a try. The Duke 790, probably a bit too hairy as a first one. Thank you, Darryl. Very kind of you. Thank you. Good evening. If you're a new rider and a 2 to 3K to spend, what bike would you buy? If you're using it for weekend and commuting, well, you're into second-hand stuff. Crikey. I would say I'd go for a second-hand street triple. I think they're great as a fun weekend bike and an all-day rider. I think anything from the Japanese manufacturers as well, if you're going second-hand, they tend to seem to have, rightly or wrongly, a reputation of being very reliable. Certainly if my Honda's anything to go by, been very reliable bikes. So if you get one of the more popular bikes from the big four Japanese manufacturers, I don't think you go far wrong. I did like my current favourite of those sort of bikes is the Suzuki SV650. I've got some videos of that on the channel. Hook those out. I think that bike looked great in black with red frame, and also rode really, really nicely. And that's good for the other answer, actually, for the previous question, as a first big bike. I think if I was now out there looking for my first 600, the SV650 would definitely be in my must-check-out list. I might be missing some others in there. I haven't thought about that question very much. But, yeah, have a look at those. Right, what else have we got? Brian here. ZX6, had mine 20 years and no probs. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Paul, he's got a ZX R1200R, great hooligan tool. SV650A is terrific, says, who's that? Tim. Yeah, agree. New riders won't go wrong with a CBR 600. Yeah, very true, Simon. And also, they've just brought the new one out, haven't they? Which looks amazing. It depends, of course, and the RR as well. Both those look good. So there's the sort of new Neo Caf Racer looking one, and then there's the sports bike version. I think they've got the same engine, might be in a slightly different state of tune, but it depends whether you like the sort of retro Neo Caf Racer or sports bike. But those cracking bikes that I haven't ridden either, but I just know they're going to be cracking bikes. I will get to ride them at some point. All right, how are we doing for time? Goodness me, it's 25 to 9 already, been on for 35 minutes. It's incredible how time flies when you're doing these. Right, next question then, and then I'll wrap it up in probably about 10 minutes, maybe a bit less, and I must get through those parish notices for you. Stuart Gordon says, how many miles do you average per year on your GS? Good question. It's currently done, it's a 2015 model year. I bought it right at Christmas 2014, so I've had it, 4 years? Is that right? No, 5 years now, isn't it? No, 4 years, because it was Christmas 2018, it's just gone. So I've had it 4 years, and it's done 25,000 miles, so what's that, about 7,000 miles is the average per year. It's the bike that I do my big tours on, basically. It's the one I rode to the Arctic Circle. It's the one I did the North Coast 500 on. Any tours in this country, it's been to France and all sorts of stuff. So that does knock the miles up, and it tends to be my day-to-day bike this time of year as well. I've been out on it today, for example. I was out on it yesterday, so that's the one that racks the miles up. But even at 6,000 miles a year, that may not sound a lot, but of course, lucky me, I have got 3 other bikes, and I do tend to borrow other people's bikes quite a lot. So I don't put a lot of miles on my bikes, even though I'm riding out there every day in all weathers. If I don't do that, I miss it, frankly. So there we go, Alan. Hope that answers that question. Oh, one more one here. James Elder, TMF. What's your view on DCT Hondas? Fine, yeah, I love them. I've only ridden the one. I rode the Africa Twin DCT. Witchcraft, basically. Very odd feeling. Takes not that long to get used to it, actually. Did like it. Not sure whether I'd go for it. It's a little bit too scooterish for my liking. I think I would personally avoid, but don't let me put you off. Have a go on one, see what you think. It's very clever technology and very smooth. The only downside with them, I heard from somebody that said sometimes if you're coming up to a roundabout, you suddenly want to accelerate away from almost stopped. It can take a while to select a gear and can hesitate, and that could be nasty. But that was when they first came out, so it might be a bit different from that now. One more, Alan Jordan. Hi TMF. My wife Julia is in love with you. Fantastic. Thank you for telling me that, Alan. Maybe you can get Julia to send me a picture and we'll take it from there. All right, okay, so that's quite enough of the ones there. Okay, what have we got down here then? Leon Marler, love it as well, Michelle. Won't sell it anytime soon. What's Michelle talking about? Sorry, her comment has whipped off the top, so not sure what Michelle was talking about. Lambo, Toro Adventure vids. Who's the ponytail girl? Is she Mrs. Toro? Oops, flashed off the top. No, that was the person you're referring to is a Dutch moto vlogger called Two Wheels and a Ponytail. TWAAPT. Twapped. So look her up for her videos if you want to see more of her. Very nice girl. You won't see her face though. She's very particular about keeping that blurred out. So yeah, go and check out her videos. We had a great time down there. Alrighty, let's have a look at some more questions coming in then. Michael McDonald, have you bought the extended BMW warranty for your GS? No, I didn't. In general, I have a bit of a thing about insurance. I've talked about this before. I don't buy insurance unless I absolutely have to. I only buy legally mandated insurance because I personally think it's a bit of a rip-off. I've spent hundreds of pounds, well, thousands of pounds over the years on insurance, and I don't think I've ever made a claim on any insurance policy. Frankly, if legally you're allowed to do so, you're better off putting 50 quid in the pot every month, and then if something crops up, you just use that to get you out of whatever financial hole you're in. So no, I just see extended warranties as a form of insurance. And anyway, my bike now, being 4 years old, is too late for that. In fact, oddly, I think when the warranty is up, my BMW, I think, only had a 2-year warranty. When it's up, they're supposed to send you a reminder and offer you extended insurance, aren't they? Well, I bought mine and I never got an offer of extended insurance. I'm sure I could have chased them up, but I'm surprised that BMW never wrote me a letter saying, do you want to buy extended insurance? I may have thought of it at the time, and in hindsight I kind of wish I did, because I wouldn't have had the issues that I had with the shock on mine, having to shell out money to get that sorted. But let's not open that can of worms again. But in the main, I wouldn't go for extended warranties on anything. That goes for washing machines, TVs and motorcycles. But it works for some people, so it's just my opinion. I just think insurance generally, it's weighted. There's some very clever maths involved. These people pay a lot of attention to risk. They know how to weight it so that they make money out of you paying your insurance premiums. It doesn't work the other way around. So I think in the main, you're going to be out of pocket. Just my view on that. But you do need insurance, of course, for bikes and cars. In some cases, houses, if you've got a mortgage. So in those cases, you've got to have it. So in which case, shop around for the best service, shop around for the best prices. Alrighty, next up, what have we got coming in now? Let's look for another question on here. Mike, totally agree on the insurance front. Biggest racket on the planet. Thank you, Mike. Glad it's not just me. Bully 27 extended warranty. Don't do it. Well, I'm with the same view as I just explained. All right, let's come back to a question down here. Uhura Makali. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. Not sure where you're hailing from, Uhuru. Try Bob milk. Tastes like semi, but is skimmed. Thank you for your advice. I think that comes from the fact, well, I've been on a bit of a diet recently. I don't want to bore you with the details, but I've also given up cow's milk as much as I can. And I said I think that I was drinking oatmeal milk. But as it happens, I have tried Bob milk, and I had that in my tea. It stands for Best of British, and it's very clever stuff. They take out all a lot of the bad stuff, and it's very good. So I recommend Bob milk. And thanks for the hint, Uhura. I have been drinking that for about the last 2 years. It is a bit more expensive than normal, but it's well worth it. One more from the questions down here, because I just noticed it's quite an interesting question from Bacon Bike Tours. Any issues taking a helmet on Ryanair? We had no issues with Singapore Airlines, but Lufthansa were a nightmare. Good question, and the reason why I want to answer it is because it's come up a few times, actually, Bacon Bike. This probably is pertaining to when I did my last trip down to Toro Adventure, where you saw me do that Stress Buster tour. Obviously took my helmet on the plane, and it was a Ryanair plane I was on, to get a cheap flight down there. No issues whatsoever, and that is because I think I checked it in. I took a big bag and I took my own riding kit. You don't have to take your own riding kit down there, but I did, which included my helmet, which I packed my kit around, so it wouldn't be, if it was dropped, it wouldn't get smashed on anything or banged around in a bad way. Maybe not a brilliant idea, but if there's nothing in the helmet, it shouldn't damage the helmet. As long as it, as I say, as it's padded. So I've had no issues. I know people have walked through. In fact, the last flight I did was with EasyJet from Gatwick, and one of our team was carrying a helmet. No problem on EasyJet. But certainly I've never had a problem carrying a helmet because I always check them in. So hopefully that answers your question. Bacon bike tours. All right, crikey, loads more questions here. I'll just keep an eye on that time. Another 5 minutes of questions, and I better get on to parish notices. Right, what we got coming up on the live stream? Jim, your Powers at Will's Peterborough warranty bike for as long as you own. Must use them for service though. Wow, Jim, that's amazing. I didn't know that. I'm getting some good reports about the guys at Wills. They're the people that very kindly lent me a Tuono recently. Videos on that coming up soon. Amazing bike. And as a result of doing the one Tuono vid I think I've put up so far, which is kind of a vlog, people were singing the praises of Wheels of Peterborough. I've never actually been up there. They contacted me. So, they seem to be a good outfit in terms of service. And if they're offering lifetime warranties on bikes, that's incredible. And that is definitely worth considering. They're a multi-franchise dealer. They sell all sorts of bikes, I believe. I'm not sure what they don't sell, but they certainly sell a multiplicity. So if you're in East Anglia up near Peterborough way, go and check them out. That's something well worth having. Rutger, what do you still want to achieve when it comes to motorcycles? That's a good question. Few things. First thing that I really want to do is ride across the US. I've got this thing about Route 66. I know everybody says it's not a great, it's not all it's cracked up to be. It doesn't have to actually be Route 66. But I particularly like the western deserts in the US. I've flown them a lot. I've toured them before, on holidays. I love it down there. I love to take a bike, and it'd probably have to be a Harley. If not Harley, then my own GS, ship it over there. Love to do the US, so that's a definite one. I'd quite like to do South Africa, I must admit. And also, I've got to think about doing, two other places. I'd like to do India, but that'll have to be on a Royal Enfield, and there's potentially some plans in the offing on that one. And also Thailand, also some plans in the offing on that one. A few planets need to align. So those are the main. Oh, and of course Australia and New Zealand are definitely, they're probably number one on the list, equal time with that US thing. So plenty more that I want to do. I'm aiming to do over the next 5 years if I can, if I'm healthy and well enough. No reason why I shouldn't be. Then I'd like to do at least one big tour a year. Obviously, I'll take the cameras and bring that to you. So if anyone knows of a cheap place I can rent a bike in the US, or indeed if there's any US bike rental places watching, or bike tour companies that want to get a bit of publicity via the Missenden Fly, get in touch, because I'd love to ride across. It would be amazing. Okay, Thailand, bloody dangerous roads, says Mike. Possibly, so you got to have the right bike. Leo, you and the Toro gang should do the US. Yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? Except, of course, they're in Spain, as are all their bikes. The issue with the US, of course, is you got to get your bike there or rent one. And renting bikes is quite expensive. There's some videos coming up of me riding in the US soon, actually, on a Ducati Diavel. And I rented that, and that was an expensive bike. I can't remember it exactly now, but it was in the hundreds of dollars a day. So it becomes quite prohibitive. If you want to do a long trip, like coast to coast, or as I say, a few weeks in the desert or whatever, or north to south, a month trip, you're talking a lot of money, and that's prohibitive, as well as your flights and stuff. In fact, for those long trips, it's probably better value to get your bike shipped over. Do like Richie Vida and the guys did. I think it probably worked out cheaper. I must have a chat to them about that, actually. In fact, Albie, if you're still watching, let me know if it worked out cheaper. I assume that was part of the calculation you did when you worked out whether I know you're very keen on taking your own bikes on your tours, and whether that was just, it was always going to be on your own bike, or whether you actually looked at cost of hire versus shipping. But want to follow in your footsteps. Right, Plymouth Jana, are you planning any track days? Yes, I am. I'll give you no more details at the moment, but one coming up in, I think it's April. There's some talk about a track day, so more on that, stay tuned. Come over to Calgary in Canada, says Malcolm. We'll fix you up. That'd be amazing, Malcolm. I've got brilliant friends of mine live in Alberta. British Columbia. Where's Edmonton? Anyway, it's sort of the next town on, which sounds like, if you're in this country, the next town on from where I am near High Wycombe would be maybe, I don't know, Marlow. Calgary being the next town on from Edmonton, you're talking a day's drive at least. So, but yeah, I've been to Calgary a few times. Actually riding there would be great, because of course you've got access to the Rockies then. So what can you fix me up with? Might be worth having a chat with you. Somebody else saying Eagle Rider are the people to do rentals in the US. I did drop them a note once about a year ago asking if we could do some sort of deal, and they never responded, which is a bit of a shame. Thoughts on the new Speed Twin, says Adam Efrat. I haven't ridden it yet. I think it's coming in dealers pretty soon, so I'm going to get in touch with my local dealer, see if they'll let me have a little test ride, because it looks good, doesn't it? And on paper, sounds brilliant. The Thruxton engine, with all the retro looks and the nice trinkets and the great finish that Triumph does on the retros now. Like the sound of that. So, yeah, looking forward to having a go. It's got a lot of promise, I think. So I haven't got any other thoughts than, I want to have a go and then draw my own conclusions. I enjoyed riding the Thruxton very much in terms of its engine, and the fit and finish on it was amazing. Just didn't like the calf racer stance. But of course, the Street Twin hasn't got that. So, that could be a really, really nice bike. So looking forward to riding that one. Let's do one more question from my list here. Frank Gray, how's the Oxford Hardy doing? That's my brown quilted jacket. It's doing fine, thank you. I've had it. I've been wearing that for about 2.5 years now. I tend to wear it in the summer, although I did wear it on my recent trip to Spain. And it's going great. I love it. I think it looks good. That's just my opinion. It's warm, hard wearing. It fits well, and it's good value. I'm a big fan. That's the Hardy wax jacket. It's going well. Thank you, Frank. What else we got here? Bandit Man UK. He said the Speed Twin is looking like a nice machine. All the journalists, except you, are out there testing them. And that was a couple of weeks back, the last live stream. Yes, indeed. I never get invited to these things. Not quite true. Actually, that is true. To be honest, I wouldn't want to go on one of those testing things that the journalists go to. Lots of reasons why, and I think this is why I've mentioned this before, and this is possibly why I don't get asked, is because I've made it fairly public that I don't like those sort of things. Only because I'm not a particularly great rider. Journalists are all brilliant riders because they're all from background, proper riding backgrounds, ex-racers, whatever. So I'd look a bit of a numpty probably. Number two, the sorts of reviews I like to do tend to be more real world. So I like to do things in the rain, in the cruddy weather here, on normal roads with potholes. I'm not that interested on just blacking around a track or going in sunshine on perfect roads, because I don't think that's a fair test of a bike. Plus, to do these things, even if it's only like a one-day launch or something, say it's in Spain, you've got to fly there, that's a day gone, you've then got to do the day there, and then you've got to fly back, so that's 3 days gone. I'm knocking out a video a day at the moment. It takes an awful lot of time to do these things. I can't, frankly, afford 3 days out. So that's kind of where, I don't know why I went down that rat hole, but anyway, that's the story there. But there we are. Right, let's go back to the live stream, see what else we've got. Pillo, they are too positive. They raved about the Thruxton being a modern handling bike, but it was not when I tested it. Felt worse handling wise than my old Bandit 600. Not sure who you're referring to, or whether that's just journalists generally. You should organise a sausage festival meetup. Well, that does appeal, I must admit, but as part of my, thing that I don't want to bore you with, my healthy eating regime, I haven't eaten a sausage for ages. Although sausages are my favourite fish, I've not eaten one since well before Christmas. And gosh, I was at a thing last night actually at the local flying club, and they were serving hot dogs. It was a film show actually about Spitfires, another story. And they were serving hot dogs and onions in the intervals, and they smelled absolutely amazing. But I said no, like a trooper. So there we go. So no to a sausage fest for the time being until I'm off this ridiculous weight loss thing. Okay, what else we got? John says, I have an F800 GS and want to know how to get rid of buffeting on my helmet. I've tried to change the windscreen, but still the same. Any suggestions? Well, John, I'm a big fan. It is down to the windscreen at the end of the day, but also your kit. Have you tried? Do you get buffet all the time? And your helmet. Try a different helmet. Try a different jacket if you're able to. That makes a big difference. It's surprising what difference the kit makes. If that's not working for you, then definitely windscreen. And again, there are all sorts of aftermarket windscreens available. I'm not sure how many there are for the F800, but I'm a massive fan of the, what's it called now? The ones you see on my bike with the little lip. Somebody will remember what it's called and let me know, hopefully, because I can't remember what they're called now. Oh, crikey, what the heck's that thing called? It'll come to me later. But RSJ, I can't remember what it's called. It's not an RSJ. Somebody will remind me, I'm sure, what the flip-up screens are called. Came with the windscreen. I'm looking to see when... MRA, thank you very much, Graham. It's an MRA Vario Screen. Everybody's reminding me now, thank you. I've obviously got a bit of latency on the comments. An MRA Vario Screen is what I have. And the beauty of that is not because you've got the little spoiler that you can flip up and therefore it spills the air over you. That's not how they work. You take that spoiler, you put it parallel to the main screen, and it helps encourage something called laminar flow, which means the air stays non-turbulent as it goes over you. And if you've got clean air going over it, means you're not getting that buffeting on your head. So if you've not tried one already, try an MRA Vario Vario Screen. I have no links to them whatsoever. They don't give me kickback on sales or anything like that. They don't sponsor me. I've just always used them when I've had a bike that's got a turbulent screen. I stick an MRI Vario Screen on and it does a better job than anything else. So give that a try, see if that helps. All right. Oh my goodness me, it's 10 to 9. One more question from this list and then we'll quick look at the live stream stuff and then I better get on to Parish notices. Parish notices. Anthony Ward, NC 500, best places to stay and visit. Good question, Anthony. It's a while ago since I did it. I can't remember off the top of my head. The only one I can remember is the Arch in Ullapool. That was brilliant. So if you're going to stay in Ullapool when you do the NC 500, definitely look up the Arch. I enjoyed that. It's right there on the waterfront. Great beers and amazing fish and chips, and you desperately need fish and chips by the time you get there. Well, of course, the new me wouldn't touch them. So yeah, definitely do the Arch. The others I stayed in around about in the main weren't that good, to be honest. If you watch my NC 500 videos, I do talk about them and show you where I stayed. Can't remember off the top of my head where they were, but they were all a bit rubbish. So yeah, I'm not in a good position to recommend stuff there, I think. So thank you for that question anyway, Anthony. Right, I'm going to put those questions aside because I could be here for another 3 hours answering those, and I know you've got lives to live. So a couple more off the live stream, and then we'll get on to the old Paris? What's wrong with me today? Parish notices. Right, Nigel. Eric Fraser, 88, yes, that's a conversation that's going on. 881 viewers, says Mark. Oh, 884 now, that's amazing. One of these days I'll get over 1,000 viewers for one of these. That would be amazing. In fact, on the last live stream, it's very clever, the stuff that YouTube gives you. Once it's done its live stream processing, it'll tell you what it peaked at. And last time I got over 900 viewers at one point, so that was amazing. I just find it incredible that 800 people around the world are watching this, but it's brilliant. Okay, what else we got coming up? Next Biker Scran, says Dan Kitchen, appropriate name for Biker Scran. Well, yeah, I'm going to be doing loads more Biker Scrans. I love that idea. Although, again, hopefully it'll be when I finish this thing that I'm not going to talk about, me losing weight. So, yeah, definitely want to do that. But just the weather's so horrible here at the moment. You may have seen recently we've had snow in the last week. It's salty on the roads and generally not very nice to ride. Although, as I say, I've been out on the bike today. It wasn't that cold. But anyway, so we will be doing more Biker Scrans, but I think it's going to be at least March, April time when the weather starts to turn a bit. I think we're going to have to start to go a bit further afield now. We maybe have exhausted most of the local ones, although I can think of one or two more around here that we could do. But yeah, so Dan and Jeff, if you're watching, we need to synchronise diaries. We need to get another Biker Scran in. Look forward to that. That's what biking's all about, isn't it? What else have we got? CRF got stuck, says David. Yeah, sorry about that in the snow. That was probably me more than the CRF, but it did indeed. Anyone recommend good pair of waterproof trousers? Well, I'm currently a massive fan of the kit that I'm wearing. I've got the jacket and trousers. It's called, what's it called now? An Oxford Mondial, actually, Mondial. It's from their, I think it's called their professional series or something like that. But it's recently introduced. I've been wearing it actually for about the last year now, in winter and summer. It's one of these ones that's got the clever bonded surface, so it's properly waterproof. You don't have to put a waterproof layer in, yet it's very cheap to buy. It's like, I think you can get the whole suit for less than 500 quid. But the trousers are about 100, suit 400, something like that. I may be way out there, but watch. I did do a review on that video. Check out my my previous videos, and you'll see my. It's one with the thumbnail of it. It's a picture of my daughter squirting a hose pipe at me. Those work a treat. I've been out in all sorts of weathers. Really recommend those. They're really good and great price as well. Okay, what else have we got? Paris notes. That's insane. You're on fire, Bill. I love it. Right, that's a good reminder. Let's get on with the parish notices. Then I'll pick up a few more questions before we wrap up, but we must be done by the top of the hour. Okay, so just a quick shout again, Custom Fit Guards, thanks for sponsoring the video. They sponsored this and Bike News, as mentioned before. Don't forget, we are at the London Motorcycle Show. That's the advert you might have seen in MCN this week. And do get yourself a copy of MCN this week. My article's back in there. So, yeah, from the 15th, next Friday, not this one coming, not tomorrow, but the one after, London Motorcycle Show is on. I shall be there with Custom Fit Guards, stand R662. Not quite sure where that is in the hall, but come and find us. I'll be there on the Saturday from 12 o'clock. Be fantastic to meet you. And while you're there, get yourself some earplugs made. If you want to, you can get 10% discount, and you can get them done there and then. The other thing was, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been putting out quite a lot of videos recently. This is mainly to make up with the fact that I didn't put any out. I had that 2-week break over Christmas. I won't be doing that again. I got withdrawal symptoms and it was a nightmare. So for the last just over a week, I've been putting out at least a video a day, and that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. Well, actually, not the foreseeable future. It won't continue for a long time. I think it's going to run until about February the 15th, 16th. So we're on the 7th today. So you got at least another week of a video a day from me. So I hope I'm not going over the top, but I'll be interested to hear from you whether a video a day is too much. And whether you think I should ease it off. Because partly why I'm doing it and partly why I did the Christmas break is just to see what impact that has on the channel overall. So what's it like when you don't post a video for 2 weeks versus what happens when you post a video a day. So it's a little bit of experimentation I'm doing there to try and work out how YouTube reacts to these things. But as well as the plain stats that I get off that, it'd be just really interesting to get your view, because I do wonder whether doing them daily, I'm just doing too much stuff and you're not going to watch stuff. Obviously, watching isn't compulsory, but I'm thinking that of the people I watch, if they put something up every day, I'm not sure I'll be able to commit to watching everything. I might miss stuff. And also the notifications haven't been working very well recently, so I might be putting stuff up and you're not seeing it, but be interested in your view on that. Oh, let me just see some of the comments coming in now. Keep the vids coming. Vids every day, please. A video a day keeps the fat fighters away. Keep them coming every day. Okay, great. That's interesting. What happened to Principal Insurance, says Mr. Superduke. I've covered this before. Sadly, they've had a bit of a reorg in the marketing department. And as a result of that, they didn't renew the sponsorship that I had with them, which is a bit of a shame. Could come back, although I doubt it. But I am sort of actively looking for new sponsors at the moment. So if you know of anybody, point them in my direction. So that's a bit of a shame. So we talked about daily vlogging. Next live stream, it's on the little ticker thing that runs down here, but it's going past now. Look, there it is. No, that way. March the 11th, 8 p.m. UK time. Put that in your diary, and let's see if we can beat the 900 viewers this time. I'm at 894 now. Look, so close, so close. If you've got some family members that have got a phone, get them on quick, get us over the 900. Okay, so that's that. Don't forget I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter too. I'm posting stuff on there pretty much every day, but that's where I put sort of behind the scenes stuff, if you like. Another little question for you before I get on to what's coming up on the channel. Another little question about music in videos. Now, one of my videos recently, again, I think it was I had to do a bit when I was on the Tenerife tour, and I had to do a bit on the recent Stress Buster with Torrid Adventure because my mic and the flipping Eero 7 let me down. So I had to use some of the footage. I had to put some music over it. Now, I don't normally do music in my videos because personally I don't really like watching videos that have lots of music in. Depends on the music. I don't like the thumping, loud rock music stuff particularly, although I'm not against that sort of music generally, just not in biking videos. Hear me out here. Anyway, my point is I had to put some music in some videos, and I had some comments of people coming back to me saying, actually, we like the music in your videos. Why don't you do that more? So I wondered what you thought. Just because I'm not a big fan of music in videos doesn't mean to say you're not. So let me know what you think of the music in my videos. Shall I do a bit more of that? I have to do it if I'm doing drone shots because the drone has no mic, or it's a very boring soundtrack. You just get the buzzing of the rotor blades. So if I'm doing drones, 904 now. Thank you very much. We would have got over the 900. So if I'm doing drone stuff, then I have to put music or a voiceover or something over it. So you'll get them then, but generally I'll try and minimise it. So let's just see if we've got anything here. Grumpy Gary is saying no music, please. Tim is saying agree, no music on vids as they spoil them. Cliff says, I'm watching on the TV and comments on the phone, so I'm 2 viewers. Oh, well done. If everybody did that would make me feel better. Music okay during dronage. Music is okay during dronage. Pref no music. Bit of music here and there won't go amiss. Please answer Nigel. What's Nigel saying? Goodness me, there's loads of stuff. 209 review, TMF, yeah, it's coming, don't worry, Dougie. Ian, no cheesy music. Well, the music has to be a bit cheesy because you have to use copyright free stuff or you get in all sorts of trouble. The music you've heard on my drone stuff so far has all been from the YouTube music library, which is free for me to use. So there might be a bit of that. Tap dance during walk around. Nice one, Saddlebag. Gordon says, I love you. Okay, thank you, Gordon. Thank you very much. Music is overdone, says Villain Catcher. Yeah, I tend to agree. All right, maybe I'll just do the music when I have to then. I think is the message I'm getting there. Let me know if you're watching the recorded version. Do let me know whether I should do music or not and whether I should do more videos or less. I certainly can't keep up the daily thing. I would just burn out too quick because it's unbelievable the amount of effort required to do that, because it's not just coming up with the ideas, researching, filming, editing, posting the videos, but there's all the social media around it, there's all the optimization, all the techie stuff behind it. It takes a long time. Then all the comments, it generates lots of comments. I'm answering hundreds of comments a day across social media, email, YouTube stuff. And of course, it's not just the new video that you get comments on, but all the old ones still get comments too. So yeah, it's difficult to do as a one-man band doing a video a day. It's not a sustainable thing, but as I say, it's a bit of a test for me, or a check. Right, let me tell you what's coming up on the Missenden Fly soon, as it's like 2 minutes to 9. Tomorrow's video is the last part of the Ben King interview. I don't know if you saw the others, because again, I've had some problems with notifications recently. The second part of the Ben King interview, he's the young guy that rode his CRF around the world. The second part didn't go out properly. Notifications didn't go, and as a result, I had like 3 viewers or something. Whereas normally I'd expect, a few thousand at least. So that was odd. So if you haven't seen part 2, go and watch that. It's just a few videos ago. Go to the main YouTube channel and watch that. But the third and final part of that interview with Ben King is coming tomorrow. I think it's a cracker. Ben is a fascinating young chap. He's only 23, 24. He's here in the UK at the moment, so it's an ideal chance to catch up with him, having seen him off from the Adventure Travel Film Festival back in August 2017. Brilliant to catch up with him. Had a great time with him. And he's off riding around the UK at the moment. But anyway, so that's coming up tomorrow. Let me just see if there's any comments on that. 3 a week is plenty, says Simon. Yeah, thank you. Who else we got? The guy on Too Many Red Bulls, says Alan. Ben King, inspirational. Graham, that's Graham Stewart. Graham Tucson says, I was one of the 3 viewers. Thank you, Graham. Great. Met Ben last Saturday. Brilliant. Oh, Hartley 383. Oh, was that at the Royal Enfield dealers that he did a talk at there, didn't he? He was a bit worried about that, but I know it went well, so that's good. Still waiting for NC Honda review. That is coming soon. Sue Taylor, Crumble as the music, spot on. Yep, I agree. All right, okay, thanks for that. Right, next up then, so we talked about Ben. I've got some start of my reviews. Some of you spotted in the garage on some of my videos that I had a bike in there called a Sinis Terrain a while ago, which is like it's a 125cc, sort of like a Chinese off-road. Looks a bit like a GS, actually. Definitely got copies of GS panniers on the back. Those videos are coming up in the next few days. So stay tuned if you're interested in cheaper off-road bikes. I've got an update on the Metzler Road Tech 01s I've been using on the GS. Lots of people ask me, how are you getting on with those Road Techs? How are you getting on? So I thought I should do an update video. That's coming in the next few days. The much asked for CB1000R review, the big Honda. Again, this is from their sort of Neo CAF range, so it's not really retro, it's modern, but it looks more like a motorbike should look. That is coming up soon. Got another Meet the Vlogger. Don't know if you saw the one I posted yesterday with was it yesterday I posted it, or the day before, with Bruce from Teapot One. That seems to have gone down really well, so thank you for watching that, and thank you for giving Bruce some love as well. I see that he got a good boost to his subscribers on the day that went up, which is fantastic. So another MTV coming up on Wednesday the 13th. That is with Lamb Chop Rides, so do look out for that. I've been installing some crash protection on my Panigale in the garage. I've had the spanners out, always dangerous with me. So I've got some R&G bits and bobs I'll put on the Panigale, a video on that coming up. The NC750 X review that I rode on Tenerife. I've been promising a review for that for ages, so that one is definitely coming up. This is all coming up before my next bike news, by the way, which is coming up on the 28th. The last bike news I did, which is why I read MCN to you, I did that as a two-parter because there was so much news it would have gone on for over an hour, so I split that into 2 videos. Had mixed views. I think in the main, most people said 2 parts was fine for that. Some people said they liked to hear it like a podcast in the car or when they're at the gym or doing their ironing, so I could do it as 1. I think what I might do is do it as 2 again. Depends how much news there is, basically, but this month, there's been all sorts of things happening. I'm not going to mention the new Triumph Daytona, for example. Fantastic. But tuned in to bike news on the 28th for that, or around about the 28th anyway. And of course, there'll be some good old-fashioned. What am I doing here? Let's just go there. There'll be some good old-fashioned vloggage as well about whatever subject happens to appeal at the time. So stay tuned for that and lots more as well. As I say, I've got a video every day coming for at least the next week, possibly more. And then, of course, there's the next live stream on March the 11th. All right, before I finally sign off then, let me just see any final comments. Bike news in 2 parts was good, says Bully. Thank you very much. 1 part if possible. There you go. See, can't win, can you? You can keep some of the people happy some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. All right, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that live stream. Thank you for watching. It's been amazing as ever. Keep the questions coming in for a little bit. I like to watch the questions a bit afterwards. I will review all your comments and questions afterwards, as I mentioned. I'll pick up a few more, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. All right, until then, this has been the Missenden Fly. Cheerio.